welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Animal wrangling for us is Volunteer Coordinator Sean Snyder, and our first guest is actually one that is probably going to be adopted, but I thought it would be a good opportunity to educate the public to have Suzy on the show today. Suzy is 8 years old, and she is a 24-pound cat. Now, some people might think that that's really funny. Some people might think it's really cute, but ultimately, it's really sad and it's really dangerous for a cat to be this overweight. Not only can Suzy potentially have mobility issues, but she's at risk for a lot of dangerous health complications. Things like diabetes, various issues with her internal organs. So it's really important to make sure that your cats do not become the size of Suzy. We've had many overweight cats, and when they're here, we do our best to get them on a diet and get them started working towards that right direction of getting to that healthy weight for them. Just like with people, a healthy weight for a cat depends on things like their overall size and things like that. Recently we had tons of fat cats in our kitty cabana, and ideal weights for them might have been, some of them might have been 12 pounds, but they were still really overweight at 16. Sometimes you get cats that are even larger, like Suzy here, but it is important to make sure that you're dieting them appropriately. Some people might say, we were concerned recently that Suzy wasn't eating. Well, she should be on a diet. What does it matter? It should be good that she's not eating. But you want them to lose the weight in a controlled way. You want to make sure that they're staying healthy. We don't want them to crash diet, just like we don't want us to crash diet. When you're talking about exercise, you want to make sure you're doing it in an appropriate way as well, so that they're not going to develop other issues from trying to do too much too soon. You have to work up to things with the animals just as you would with people. Suzy was surrendered because the owner was moving to a location where they weren't allowed to have pets. And when we asked the owner, how much and how often does your cat eat and when does your cat eat, the response for both was whenever she wants. Here we do not do that for the animals. We have set feeding times and we have set amounts of food that they're given. So we know that Suzy is going to end up in a family where they're going to monitor her weight and get her down to where she needs to be. For a lot of animals, that takes about a year to get them where they should be. We hope that in the future, Suzy will, live a long, happy, healthy life, and that other people will start to understand that pet obesity is as big an issue as obesity in humans, and we'll work to make sure that Suzy's not the punchline of a joke, but is going to be a way for people to understand what to do in the future. While our animal population is significantly lower, and most of the kittens have found homes, there are still a few that are trickling in, and Boyd is one of those kittens. He actually came in with another kitten named Clara, who is going to be on the show later. They were brought in as strays. They are not bonded. They're not even in a cage together. So if you are looking for kittens, you might have to wait a little bit longer, look a little harder, but they are still available right now at Animal Control. Boyd is about 4 to 5 months old, so he's working his way into more of his adolescence. Going to be a little bit, more rambunctious maybe, but starting to show more of his true personality. He is a orange tabby with white, and he will be set once he leaves here for at least a good period of time. We make sure that all of the animals that leave here are spayed or neutered, so that will be done for Boyd before he leaves. We also get them current on their vaccinations. Most of the time, if they are not eligible for a rabies vaccine yet, we'll send you for a voucher for that. Some of the other vaccines you might have to finish the series on your own, like with distemper, but we make sure that they're all dewormed, they all get flea and tick preventative, they are all also microchipped before they leave, and we will register that for you. And you also get a free well visit to a vet, so you really can't beat all of that, especially when you're thinking that you're getting it for $97.50, which is significantly lower than you would be paying if you actually went and got all that stuff done at the vet yourself. When you're thinking about kittens, you want to make sure that you really are prepared for what a kitten is. They are just like bringing a baby into your house. They will wake you up in the middle of the night for a variety of reasons. They like to pounce on your feet. They have no respect for your space bubble. They get into things. You are responsible for teaching them what they are and are not allowed to do. You can't just expect that they're not going to, jump on your counter or scratch your furniture. Like, you have to teach them that those are not acceptable things. And that is something that we would go over with you during your adoption interview to make sure that you understand, what to do to make sure that your animals are behaving in a way that you think is appropriate. It does take about, our adoption process takes about 2 to 5 business days. So we check applications, we schedule those adoption interviews, we make sure the animals all get on that surgery schedule if necessary, and then we're able to send them home to their new families. As you can see, Boyd is quite energetic. He is very new to the adoption floor, so if you're looking for kittens, you can definitely come in. If you wanted to make sure that we still had some available before you made the trip in, you could always give us a call. The number is 301-600-1546. This is Finca, and she is one of our young adult cats. She's about 2 to 3 years old. She is also a stray. She's been with us for a little bit longer, a couple more days than some of the others on the show so far. So we are starting to learn things about her personality. And one of the things that we've quickly discovered is that she loves attention. She loves to be petted. She's very, very social. She's a little less sassy than your typical tortie would be. But one of the things we've also learned is that she does not like to be picked up. And that's okay, not all cats like that. So when you're taking home a pet, it's important that you learn to kind of respect their boundaries just like you would want someone to respect your boundaries. If the animals don't want to be picked up, then don't pick them up. As you can see, she's perfectly happy, like sitting on Sean's lap, getting lots of attention. So, if you want to quickly put her on your lap, that's cool. Or if you want to wait for her to come up onto you herself, also great. But wanting to pick her up and carry her around the house and treat her like a baby is not going to be something that she really enjoys. If that's something that you would continue to do even though she didn't like it, then you may get to the point where if she sees you, she's not into that, she runs away from you. So that's why it's really important to kind of respect what they're telling you, and to listen to her body language. If you're doing something and she's indicating with her body language that she doesn't enjoy it, and you ignore those cues, continue to do it, then they're going to get more clear. And then if you continue to not listen, then that's when any animal would reach that point where they would maybe swat or scratch at you or nip at your fingers. So it's really important to listen to them and have a good line of communication and be understanding. Finca is super soft, and she has that great tortoiseshell coat. We have noticed a little bit of hair loss on her when she first came in. The vet notes say that it could be just some self-trauma. Sometimes if they have fleas or they're stressed, they might be licking at an area to kind of alleviate any, if it's related to fleas or something like that, to alleviate the itching. If some animals get stressed, they overgroom. So that's something that we're not treating right now, but you might keep an eye on it if you were to make her part of your family. Have your vet take a look at that. Finca will be adopted for our adult and kitten adoption fee, which is $97.50, and you can visit her here at Animal Control, 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Earlier in the show, we met Boyd, and this is Boyd's sister, Clara. They came in together. She, too, is about 4 to 5 months old. She is a white with a brown tabby, or a brown tabby with white. Generally, I say whatever the color they have more of goes first, and she's definitely a little bit more white, in my opinion. She has some great markings on her that really set her apart from the other cats that are similar in coloring. I love how she has the brown spot in the middle of her face. She's got like the great, the tabby stripes that are black kind of stop right where the white meets. She's got brown spot on her chest. She's got like brown spots on the patches of her arms, like a coat. She's just got a lot of cool patterns on there that really can help sell her when there's so many other animals to choose from. Something that looks a little bit more exotic can sometimes get a home sooner than some of the other cats. Boyd earlier was a little bit more into wanting to, you know, kind of get down and explore, whereas Clara is definitely a more playful kitten. She wants to play with the toys. She's very engaged with that. Both of them were super easy to handle. They were excited to see me when I opened the cage. They came over, they wanted to be pet. I picked them up. There was no issue. They were just purring, content. They're pretty much, you know, your typical easygoing, playful kittens. These guys, again, are not in a cage together, but if you were looking to adopt two, you could adopt both of these guys together. When you adopt two animals, you get a multi-pet discount, so there would be a total of $20 off your total adoption fee if you were to take any two pets home, whether, you know, you're taking two cats, two dogs, those types of things. She will go home with all of the same stuff that we've already discussed. She will be spayed before she leaves. She'll be made current on her vaccinations. She's already been microchipped. We will make sure we register that. She'll get a free well visit to the vet. So she's going to be starting off on the right foot in her new forever family. Our last guest before the break is Mira, and she is a 2-year-old gray tabby. She is a beautiful cat, and she is definitely not seeming to show any signs of stress living here. She is super happy and comfortable in her cage, sleeping in her bed. I don't know that I've seen a cat sleep more soundly in a bed than Mira. So she is, however, one of our purple cards, which means they can be a couple of things. So sometimes, especially with our cats, they can be fraidy cats. They're super fearful in this environment. They need someone to help socialize them. That's not the case with Mira. Mira is what we would call a little sassy, a little opinionated maybe. Sometimes she can have a little bit of a short fuse. She has a threshold when it comes to being handled sometimes, but I've also been told that once she reaches that point, she'll let you know, but then she's also very forgiving and quickly forgets that she was mad with you and wants more love and attention. So because of that, she might be better suited for a family maybe with older children who can maybe read her body language a little bit better, know, to make sure that they're not, laying on her or, grabbing at her fur and pulling on her tail, those types of things. But she has also settled in really nicely and is starting to kind of lose some of those aspects of her personality as she gets more comfortable. She's definitely being much more affectionate with visitors. She's coming up and asking for attention, and she was okay with me picking her up, and she seems to be perfectly relaxed right now with Sean getting lots of attention, and not really indicating that she's getting overstimulated or anything like that right now. For animals that are purple codes because of, that maybe they're a little too sassy, sometimes we send them out through our Barn Buddies program, but we've given Mira here some time to settle in, and she's definitely showing that she is well suited for that indoor pet lifestyle. She might even eventually kind of graduate from that purple and just be color-coded green. So we really pay attention to the animals while they're here with us, and we continue to monitor them and change color codings and plans for them as is necessary and appropriate. If you wanted to visit with Mira, you can do so here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. The address, the hours of operation are going to be Monday through Saturday. If you were looking for maybe some dogs, we only have one after the break, but if you're a cat person, you're in luck because we're going to introduce you to 4 more cats when we get back.
Thinking about traveling out of the country this summer? As we get closer to peak vacation time, the race to get a passport is on. Now there's a new way to get your passport locally. Frederick County Public Libraries opened a new passport acceptance facility in the Seaver Arts Public Library in downtown Frederick. Located at 110 East Patrick Street, the office will accept passport applications on behalf of the U.S. Department of State. While tending to your application, you can also get your passport photo taken in the new library office. No appointments are necessary, as the service is on a first-come, first-served basis. The office is open Tuesday through Sunday at varying hours. For more information, visit travel.state.gov, fcpl.org, or call the library at 301-600-1630.
Welcome back. Our first guest here after the break is another one of our kittens. This is Gremlin. And Gremlin is definitely a cat that is gonna be a little bit of work. She is very high energy. She can be a little sassy too. Gremlin needs another cat to help show her the ropes and to keep her in line. Sometimes singleton kittens can be a little needy, or they don't have another kitten to kind of teach them things like bite inhibition and some of that stuff. So she was in a number of different foster homes just as people were going on vacation and moving around. And ultimately we put her in a foster home where she did really well with a surrogate mom cat to kind of keep her in line and let her know, like, no, you can't do those types of things, and to show her the ropes. So we are saying that Gremlin definitely needs to go to a home with another cat. She would probably do better with a more experienced cat owner, in my opinion. Somebody who knows, maybe to, like Sean's playing with her with a toy. You want to definitely use toys with her. If you use your fingers, then she starts to associate fingers as toys, and then she might be more inclined to nip at fingers and things like that. So you definitely want to set those boundaries with her. She is high energy, and if you're looking for a cute little kitten to kind of sit on your lap, probably not Gremlin. She's going to need a lot of attention to make sure that she's getting that energy out, and as you can see, definitely a little sassy, and is going to do what she wants to do. So she has lived in foster homes with kids before, but kids that are very cat savvy and can understand their body language, when to leave her be, when to interact with her, and also kids who are maybe, I know most of those kids who are just as sassy as she is, so they would give as good as she would give. So it was kind of a good situation. But definitely somebody who's gonna really be committed to giving her an outlet for her energy and understand that she is a little sassy. Yes, she is a beautiful kitten. She's got great markings, but you wanna make sure that you can handle all of Gremlin and not just the fact that she's maybe a cute cat. If you're interested in her, you can visit her here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Again, it is a requirement that you have an existing cat in your household to make her part of your family. This big guy is Chewy, and he's actually been with us for a little while. He arrived at the end of November, but he got sick, and unfortunately it took him a little bit longer to recover than it takes some of the other cats. And he's just now making his way back out onto the adoption floor, but as you can see, he's definitely feeling a lot better, and he's ready to find his forever family. He's about 2 to 3 years old. He weighs 11 pounds, and he's got those great kind of tomcatty cheeks. He's got like a very round, kind of big-cheeked face, which is really cute. He's incredibly affectionate. As soon as I opened his cage today, I put my hand out, and he just reached right in and leaned into it, showed me where he wanted to be petted. Now he's, again, a playful cat as well, so he's kind of the best of both worlds. He is very treat motivated. That's why he keeps going over to the table. There were some treats over there, which he quickly found. one of the great things about cats that are treat motivated is that it's very easy to train them. People talk about training their dogs, but you can train your cats as well. So you can clicker train them, doing that positive reinforcement, and it's good enrichment for them as well. So you want to make, you can make them sit and high five and do fun things, but it keeps them very mentally stimulated, enriches their lives just as it would for a dog. You can also use play as a reinforcer, which would also seem to be something that Chewy would be into. Because he has been sick before, it's likely that, if you were to adopt him soon, he might still have some residual sneezing or things like that, which is not uncommon. Most of the time when you send a cat to a new environment, there's going to be a little bit of sneezing, not necessarily something to worry about. They're just in a new environment with different allergens. As they're sniffing and taking in their new environment, sometimes they get dust up their nose. That's just a natural reaction. Chewy did arrive as a stray, but he is super affectionate. He probably was owned by somebody at some point. He's very confident, and we hope that he'll find a forever home soon. Because he is 2 to 3 years old, he would be adopted for that $97.50 adoption fee. However, if you were to adopt any of our cats and dogs during the month of February, they're all going to be going home for a $14 reduction in their adoption fee. This is Little Mitt, and she is another one of our kittens. She's an older kitten, however. She's about 8 months old. She did come to us previously owned. She was born on the owner's property, and they kept her for about 7-8 months, and then they were ultimately unable to afford caring for a pet, so they brought her to us so that we could properly rehome her. She is color-coded green, which means that she is a little bit of a higher energy level. Just, most kittens tend to have that energy. She is older though, so it means that, her personality is going to be more set. You're going to have more of an idea of what you're getting, as opposed to maybe some of the younger, 4-month-old kittens we saw on the show today. As you can see, she's already a little bit more she's a little calmer here right now, but that might just be a little bit of nervousness. She's looking around at the vent and things like that, but she's not trying to escape and run around and play like the other 3 younger kittens were earlier today. In her cage though, she's usually right at the front. She asks for attention. She was right there when I opened it up, wanted to greet, wanted to have interaction. Was pretty okay with me picking her up. Maybe not her favorite thing, but tolerated it very well. The previous owner didn't give us a ton of information about her personality, so it's something that you're going to have to kind of figure out a little bit on your own as you go along. She's also on one of our bottom cages, which means you might have to look a little bit harder to find her. If you're looking around, obviously your eyes go to what's at eye level, but there's tons of other animals available that are on lower cages, and you might be missing out on the one that's going to be the best fit for your family if you're not checking out, what's in every cage. She would be adopted for that same $97.50 adoption fee, less the $14, the discount for the February promotion if you were to adopt her during the month of February. We've already taken care of a majority of the things that she needed: her distemper vaccines, the dewormer, flea and tick preventative, microchipping. She will be spayed, and then we will also get her set for her rabies vaccine, and she will be ready for her forever home. The last cat we have for you today is Stimpy, and Stimpy is a cat that's been with us for quite a while. He too got sick and was taking a little bit longer to recover than some, so he has just recently made his way back to the adoption floor. Stimpy did live with another cat, a brother named Ren, who has already since been adopted. So we know that he does well in a home with other cats. So if you're looking to add a second, third cat to your household, he would probably be a good fit. That being said, you want to make sure that you're doing proper introductions with all of your pets. Stimpy is a little bit older at 5 years old, so now he does qualify for our senior discount, which means, he is still a little playful, but he's definitely a little bit more relaxed than some of the younger cats. He just kind of chills out in his cage, but when I opened the door, even though I opened the door to another side of his cage, he came right down, walked over to where I was, wanted to be interacted with, was okay with me picking him up. He seems very comfortable and confident here in an unfamiliar place, just kind of walking around on Sean's lap, looking at stuff, figuring out where he wants to be petted. So he's just a very easygoing, laid-back guy who's going to be a great fit for a variety of types of households. He was an animal that has been in the shelter more than once. We always support our animals for their lifetime. So if they have been an animal that was adopted out by us in the past, if for any reason you are unable to care for your animal, we will always take it back. It is our preference that if you are unable to safely rehome one of your pets and you've adopted from us, that you bring it back to us instead of taking it to another shelter facility. And so that's what has happened here with both Ren and Stimpy. If you were interested in adopting Stimpy, he would go home for a senior discount. So that would be $20 off your adoption fee. If you were to adopt him in February, then you would not only get that $20 off, but you would get that additional $14 for our February discount as well. Winter is often a slow time of year for us in terms of the number of animals that are coming into the shelter, and this year is no exception. We do not have very many animals on the floor right now, and it's even lower numbers on our dog adoption floor, but we did recently add this guy, Bear, to the mix. He is a 1 to 2 year old black lab mix. And he came in the end of January and is now ready to find his forever home. He came to us as a stray. We have color-coded him as a green, which means he's just a higher energy dog. He pulls a little bit when he's walking on leash, things like that. He is a large dog at 58 pounds, so you want to make sure that you are physically strong enough to handle him because he's still learning his manners. He does keep his kennel clean, but you do want to make sure that anytime you're adopting a dog from a shelter facility that you're assuming that you're going to have to do some house training with them. He's friendly when you approach his kennel. He can be a little difficult to get leashed up. He's excited, jumpy, he's dodging you, difficult to walk for the same reason most of the dogs here are difficult to walk. They pull and they jump. So working with him on that would be great. No issues with food aggression. He willingly lets go of objects, so he has no object guarding issues. He is relaxed when you pet him. No issues with handling his feet or his mouth. So he has a lot of great qualities. He just needs somebody who's going to be willing to work with him a little bit on some other aspects of, training, not jumping up on people, walking nicely on a leash, those types of things. Because he is an adult dog, he would be adopted for $92.50. That covers all of his medical care while he is here. He was already neutered when he came in, and he was already microchipped. So we know that he was definitely owned by someone at some point. And then he also, we noticed, had a past rear leg surgery on his femur area. So something happened there. We're not sure because he was a stray. We haven't been able to get any other records for that, but that's kind of the area that's kind of shaved and things like that. So if you were interested in Bear, you would want to stop in and visit with him. Everyone in your family has to visit, so that means if you live with a parent, grandparent, your kids, everybody has to come in, make sure that they're going to be a good fit with Bear. If you do have another dog, you want to make sure that you bring that dog in as well and see how they get along, just to make sure that it's not going to be something that's unmanageable. If you're interested in Bear, you can stop by 1832 Rosemont Avenue. We are open to the public 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. We hope that you enjoyed meeting some of our adoptable felines and Bear here. If you want to check out what else is available for adoption, the only way to do that is to stop in. You can visit us 1832 Rosemont Avenue, and we hope that you'll tune in again next week for Pet Pals.
Many volunteer opportunities are available on Frederick County boards and commissions, whether the Commission on Aging, Human Relations Commission, the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, Workforce Development Board, or many others. Those desiring to serve must be residents and registered voters of Frederick County.
For more information, contact Joyce Grissnickel at 301-600-1102 or by email at fcgboards@frederickcountymd.gov.